Hello and welcome back to Farm Order of the Crimson Arm 100% Clubs and Count playthrough. This video will be tackling Chapter 19, my personal favorite clearance run. The rat map where we have to gather our units in all four corners of the map. To start off, we're giving Clara a Draco Shield. She doesn't end up needing it, but nobody else really needs it either. We also give Celia a body ring. This map is the map that we've been training Celia all game for. Alternatively, we could have trained Brendan, but because there are no siege tomes and we need to deploy one of them, we'd have to train Celia anyway because she ends up using longbows. This map is the culmination of the training of arcs of all of our units that we've been training so far. Whether it's down to weapon ranks, levels, stats. However, at first we can start off fairly simply. On turn 1 we don't have to do anything impressive. The assassin we recruited, her name is Arlen. She gets deployed a few more times. She's not super important. She's deployed as a filler combat unit. She already has S-rank swords and pretty solid base stats, so she'd be serviceable all game long in 0%. This map, we have to stretch our forces incredibly thin during. We have to use Clara, Elaine as combat units. The main reason we've been training Clara is because she's a very solid combat unit. And Elaine is as well. That boss and those two lackeys do end up moving, which I'm thankful for, because otherwise this map would be incredibly difficult. Clara is just barely short of one-rounding that fighter, but it's alright. Lonnie's stats are absolutely incredible at this point. She is far and away our best combat unit. Clara needs to dodge one of the... if she gets hit by that fighter, she has to dodge the other two attacks that come her way. But it's fine. Her survival rate isn't too terrible. I went into the Killing Edge and her Rune Sword, both of which are really nice. This is the map that we've been conserving the life round for. We can use it willy-nilly after this map, but during this map we still want to conserve it. Using our second body ring on Camille would have actually been a bright idea, because it would have potentially allowed her to double that hero with Nosferatu. Alternatively, we could have just leveled up more. You might have wondered why we had to promote August last map. We could have technically waited for this map, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter. We have Alchemist with a hand axe. He could use a javelin, but this is just slightly better. We put Elaine there to start beating over that sniper. That sniper has a longbow, and we want to bait him over. This is my only real mistake during this. I honestly really should have just dropped Cat down, but it doesn't change anything. Arlen using the Rune Sword helps to 1. Kill that Myrmidon, and 2. Help her bait the Shaman into attacking in a way it normally wouldn't. Brandon would have been able to kill that warrior during this turn, had we deployed him, but Celia's combat stats are just a little better. Plus she takes less experience to train. Camille had gotten one more level before this chapter. She would have been able to win around that general. And this hero. we equip a Killing Edge here instead of the Rune Sword because we just need to take care of that Wyvern Rider at some point, and doing it with a Killing Edge is much better than doing it with the Rune Sword, because it just means that she needs to crit or proc Silencer one time over the course of several rounds of combat. Celia took the Body Ring just to give her slightly more attack speed when using the Steel Longbow. Now she only loses one attack speed from it. That is E-rank bows for her. You can see that she was still able to use the Iron Longbow, the Silver Longbow. That is actually an E-rank bow, for some reason. The hackers just forgot to change it from that. This is the last really big map that we need to hit certain combat thresholds for. With one exception, really. I should just have broken out the short spear here. But it doesn't change anything, thankfully. There's a button that knight that you see on screen right now is standing on. Technically, I don't believe you need to press it. There are enemies hidden within a room to the right. But it does a slight extra boost of experience for Alchemists and the Valkyries if we press it, so there's no reason to not do that. This enemy phase is kind of unreliable because we don't want Boleslav to crit the boss when he gets attacked. If Nigu had dropped the... if Nigu had Katarina taken off her hands last turn, she would have been able to just attack the Myrmidon instead, which obviously would have been better. The hand axe was equipped just specifically because of the axe enemies nearby. Wieland had chipped down that mage with the Sage of the Lightbrand, just so it would die in a single hit on a counter to Sven. There are a lot of little intricacies that make this map the clear that it is. Originally I thought I would have to spend an extra turn on this map compared to what I actually end up doing. Yeah, Boleslav cannot crit this boss, or can only crit once. I forget what the math works out to. We also caused some promoted enemies to spawn in by progressing this far and opening that door. But it's fine. Wayland also needed to use the Lightbrand to one-run that general. He's now capped speed. How we take care of this warrior doesn't really matter, just the fact that he gets taken care of matters. Using Nosferatu to kill that general is kind of necessary, but it does weigh down Camille a little bit. Lonnie didn't need to crit there, however it does help significantly. I originally thought that we would have to use that door key in this clear, thankfully we do not. Elaine only having access to a fire tome kinda sucks, but she'll hit D-rank tome soon to unlock Thunder, if she hasn't already. Boleslav is just barely strong enough going around that hero. And he ends up critting the Swordmaster. He can make up for a whiff with a crit. I just use a Lancer here because it gives boosted weapon experience, and any weapon will kill that Myrmidon. I burn a single RN, and then pick up the boss kill. Clara needs to crit on one of her 2 attacks with Air Caliber. She, because she is low enough constitution that all fire would not allow her to get the kill, and it waste, and it's not strong enough to get the kill anyway. However, we have to deal with these enemies that are on the left here. There's no real easy way of doing that. We could have used a short axe with August, I will admit that, so we wouldn't have to get that crit. But at the same time, getting that crit does help in some way. We need to have Javelin equipped so we can kill that. Druid. We could have just used a more powerful bow to ignore having to get a crit to kill that warrior, but that works as well. And then Arlen could also end up killing this guy, but Sven is going to be used long term and still has yet to hit S-rank axes. There are 9 enemies left and 4 units left. Luckily, we're able to take out most of these enemies. With this level up and hitting 23 magic, Elaine is now guaranteed to one-run those enemies with a fire tome. We have to break out the short spear here in order to have enough power. And now, it doesn't really matter what happens. We could have had Alchemist move over to kill that shaman, but this makes it easier to funnel kills in E-lane. Negu cannot whiff a single one of her attacks. Well, she could whiff one of her attacks on the Berserker. This is mainly what training Negu has been helpful for. I needed an N8 move combat unit that has good stats, and Frank would not have been able to do that. That crit there is not necessary, but it is nice. We get a heavy spear, which we don't end up using. Actually, no, we do end up using. Get our first physics staff, finally. My finger had accidentally hit the button I didn't mean to. Yes, Wayland, our very slow lord, in quotes, is now doubling enemies. Myrmidons, even. August thankfully didn't need to get a crit here. And this isn't... She would have one-rounded that druid, but it is stylish. With that, that is Chapter 19, cleared in 4 turns. We get a unit named Isaac here. He's a Berserker. He never gets fielded. He has good stats. He brings us a Brave Axe, which we never use. I'll see you next time for Chapter 20. One of my other favorite clears.